This wasn't really intended to go down the way it has.
According to the guy, it did run. The car did sit for over a decade. Actually, I never checked the oil. It's probably gross in barn. Oh, I have not slept.
Can't exactly tow the car.
Well, it shows you know me well, sir.
What's going on, everybody? I'm just going to be popping in here sometimes because the exposition was like really kind of all over the place because this trip was honestly a serious nightmare. So there's some things I don't really film, and when I need to give a little further explanation, you'll see me pop in here. But I'm not going to do it too much. And for those of you that are new here, my name's Derek. This is Fatal RPM, and on this channel, I like to modify my cars that I have. I have a 1986 300ZX, of which I've recently built the motor in, and we've gotten our first start on, and really about to get it on the road here. And in addition to that, I do have a 2008 BMW 335xi, of which is kind of just collecting dust at this moment, but I do want to turn that into my purpose-built race car, which should be interesting. And I do want to do some wacky stuff with this car here, so if you wouldn't mind, please do hit the subscribe button if you have not, and hit the bell icon right next to it so you do get notified whenever I drop new videos. But I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Let's get into the video. We have purchased ourselves a 1999 Porsche 911 996, 911, whatever. So I've actually been looking for this car for quite a while. It's just been something that I've searched up on Copart every now and again whenever I get the idea to actually do it. I have alerts and stuff set up on eBay. And coincidentally, the very weekend that I was set to visit one of my friends in South Carolina, this car popped up. And sure enough, it's only about an hour away from where they live. So I'm like, okay, let's go ahead, throw my hat in here, because I had just so happened to be able to make this happen at this point in time. This is about a week or so before the trip, and unfortunately I did not win the auction, but I had my fingers crossed, praying to every entity that the deal fell through, and I got lucky enough that it did. And I got even luckier that I reached out to the seller after, because he had sent me a second offer after the deal fell through, even though I didn't get a notification of it. So I would have just completely missed out if I had not reached out. So went ahead, and then we started that deal. Now we fast forward to going to pick up the car. This truck that we picked up, Rams don't have hitches from the factory for whatever reason. Well, Ram 1500s with the class 3 hitch don't have hitches. So what it is they actually have a bumper support in the back that allows you to attach a receiver to it, aka the hitch, that's about yay big, so that you can actually tow with it. Mopar doesn't make it. It's not an OE part, so you gotta kind of special order it, which is what led me to the universal hitch. So I went ahead and installed that on the truck. That took a day to do. I wasn't actually able to get the hitch the day that I was set to pick up the car. Luckily, the guy was extremely understanding and worked with me the entire time. And I, once again, cannot thank him enough for putting up with everything, because I would have been like, I don't want to do this anymore after like the third issue, because it was literally nothing but issues every step of the way. The hitch part, for instance, that was all day one, trying to figure out why there was no hitch, trying to figure out where the hitch was, trying to figure out what the hitch was, and then trying to figure out a solution to the hitch that I can't get, to like 2 a.m. from 3 p.m. So a solid 11 hours. That's a whole day just lost. Granted, I did travel the distance that I needed to actually pick up the car, but I had to stay the night, get a hotel and stuff. I couldn't actually drive home that night. We fast forward to the next day, where we started this video here, going and getting ready to go out in the rain. Okay, so man, we have a very unique issue going on right now. This wasn't really intended to go down the way it has, and man, has it been interesting to say the least. But at this point in time, I am going to go pick up the car here in a couple hours. Right now, it's about 10 o'clock. So I'm supposed to pick up the car around 3. However, I have an issue. I can't exactly tow the car because we don't have a hitch for whatever reason. But that's neither here nor there. So we're gonna try and do something to actually fix that, which is why I'm dressed up in this whole getup here, because you will be able to very clearly see that it's kind of gross and rainy and disgusting. And I would like to not have to travel multiple hours in either a dressy outfit or soaking wet clothes, because that's all that I had. So had to go to Walmart, pick up some like dishable clothes. We're gonna go out to this car and try and get this, well, the truck, and try and get this hitch installed on there. That very day I had gone and went on a trip, got some tools, got some clothes and stuff that I could put on that I didn't care about getting wet too much. My pants still got soaking wet, but I legitimately could barely hold on to the bolts, and we were getting close to the time where I needed to start doing other things, like going to the bank and getting other stuff that I need in order to be able to tow this car, like the trailer. Granted, I can't get the trailer without the hitch. So after going to the bank, I went and I found a park where I could go ahead, park the car, set up a tent box, and install the hitch in the middle of the rain, in a parking lot. It took about an hour and a half, and that set me back about an hour and a half. Then we go to pick up the hitch, or the actual trailer itself, which was also a setback, because when I went to pick up the trailer at first, the place that was scheduled and said that they had the transport trailer did not actually have the trailer. So U-Haul called me and they rescheduled to another place. The thing they didn't say is that the place that they actually rescheduled me to wasn't really a U-Haul place. It was a regular business with U-Haul inside of it. Kind of. They just had a phone and an app and some shit in the back. So they weren't really a storefront. And when I set up my actual reservation, I ordered a ball and like a 2-inch drop hitch receiver. I don't know. I'm not a truck guy. I don't know what these things are called, but I ordered a 2-inch ball and stuff that was supposed to come with the trailer. I want to say basically up to the point where you're just about to finish up paperwork and go out to the truck and hook up the trailer. I realize, wait a minute, I don't see anything U-Haul related in this place. Do you guys have these things? Of course they don't. So I have to leave, go get one, come back, install it, hook it up, and then do all that. And then I had a whole thing with a plug for like 15 minutes trying to get it plugged in. It was just nerves on top of nerves, because I really didn't want the deal to fall through, because I had been trying so hard to make it continue to work. And I had gotten just a little bit of pushback, and that was just like enough for me to start freaking out over little things. But I will say, the second we got the car, we finished the paperwork, everything was loaded on the trailer, we got all the parts, I was on the road and I was out of there. In addition to the Porsche, we also have a plethora of parts. You see a box for like a tent, that was for the hitch stuff. There's an actual like box here that's full of parts. The bed is full of parts and body parts. Actually, I'll show you that here in a second. Actually, I'll show you that right now. This is what we have to work with that came with the car. We have the back hatch. We have the wheel wells, a couple bumpers. We got one front bumper here. You can see it's an old Extreme Dimensions one. We got a regular rear bumper and a turbo rear bumper that you can kind of tell is a turbo based off the vents down there. We got that. We got a couple of heat shields and stuff in here. We have the tire here, or the wheel there. But the thing about this is I bought this thing technically wrecked, and it's been sitting since 2011. That was the last time that it was re-registered, and it has the same mileage on it that it had from that day, like right now. So let me introduce you to our 99 Porsche 996 911. So this is it here. As you can see, it's a little worse for wear at this point in time, but that is nothing that cannot be fixed.
the biggest issue with this guy is going to be back here. And this is where most of the damage was. The owner before the guy that I bought it from attempted to repair it. Obviously did a very, very poor job. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. The interior is an interior. That's all I can really say about that. Hold on. So, think we're gonna clear it? Yeah, we just barely cleared it. Doesn't smell great. Has a lot of rat poop all over the place. Surprise, surprise. I mean, the car did sit for over a decade, so it's not in the best condition, but I mean, hey, all it really needs is cleaned up. Like, the driver's seat isn't in the best condition, but this passenger seat is perfect. But yeah, so that's what we're looking like right here on the interior. According to the guy, it did run. Don't know if it runs, but it did run. And the reason why we don't know if it runs is because we don't have a key for it. So, yeah. So, this is, actually I never checked the oil. It's probably gross in barn. Oh, it's actually not that bad. I'll worry about the oil and stuff later, because we still have to deal with that guy. So, what happened? I had driven from 7 p.m., made a few stops, to literally 7 a.m. Almost 7 a.m. on the dot is when this car, or this truck, alternator decided to no longer work, and the check engine light popped on. Like, I legitimately started freaking out. I'm like, no, 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 no. At the start of the trip, 600 miles away from home. At this point in time, we were about 250. So we had completed the majority of the trip, over half. And now we're running into issues with the truck. So what do? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. I know even if it is the alternator, I'm not going to be able to do that, and nor would I do that, because this is a rental. This is not my truck. So what I will try to do is I will go to AutoZone to see if, like, maybe it's a relay or something that blew. Run the check engine code. Pulled the code, researched it, has no information, literally blank for the truck. Helpful, right? That was at 7:30 when AutoZone opened. So, kind of dropped the ball on this whole thing. We have the car on the trailer in the back, but this has been by far the most frustrating 48 hours, almost going into 72 hours if we hang out here for another, like, 14 hours. Where we're at right now is I'm in a truck that has a bad alternator, which is wild to say because it literally has 3,388 miles. I cannot go more than like 15 miles without the battery like falling below a point where it's really safe to drive, because this truck could just cut off at any point in time. Luckily, I did buy a refurbished battery when I was at AutoZone, having the battery that was in the car recharged. So that's what's in here right now. So I do still technically have almost a full battery charged hanging out in the car. So I should be able to make it back to AutoZone. I'm buying a trailer lock, and they're going to let me leave the trailer there for a while the rental company comes and tows the truck. We dealt with the whole hitch problem, which was a 1.5 day delay. We dealt with actually getting all the trailer and stuff, which was like a 3-hour delay, all the parts and things. Like, I'll probably end up spending double at this point of what it would have cost me just to have it thrown on a trailer and have it towed back home, and me just like put the parts in a car and just drive home. Granted, I would have still had to get a truck, so it's very possible that this may have still happened and I would be in this point. But yeah, I gotta contact the rental company. I already called AutoZone,
got the authorization to leave the trailer there for a little bit. Hopefully no one steals the car. It is now 3:15 p.m. I have been dealing with this whole debacle for multiple hours. Needless to say, I am beyond over this. I just want to get this thing home, and I want to be able to go to sleep, because I have not slept at all. And I don't know how I'm not sleeping right now instead of recording this. I just can't, and I'm like, I don't think I can sleep until this is done. Right now, what's going on is I'm waiting for approval from managers with the rental company to get me another vehicle similar to this, because all that was available was an SUV. We can't fit all this stuff in an SUV. It wasn't a large SUV. So that wasn't going to work. So that's what we're waiting on now. They said it would be about an hour. I've been dealing with that. I pulled the hitch off the car because there's no point in even having it on here. The car's getting towed back anyway. They're not getting my hitch. And yeah. So this is where we stand. I wish I would have been able to pull out the camera and actually record a lot of this for you, especially when we went to pick up the car. I really dropped the ball on that. But I have been moving basically non-stop, with the exception of the time that I spent in the hotel room attempting to get some sleep. And I'm just tired. So yeah, next update, I'll definitely let you guys know, because at this point there's nothing that I can do but sit here in this truck that has 10 volts in the battery and wait. And wait, and wait, and wait. So it was at this point that I was pretty much just over everything. And I proceeded to wait in that car for, I want to say, about 7 hours. I had contacted the customer support line, and they told me that they were going to call me back. I actually ended up passing out for about an hour and a half after that clip. And I woke up to what I was supposed to have was a callback from a manager. But I woke up to nothing. So I contacted the local branch of the rental company to try and see what was going on. Turns out that they have a pretty good reputation for being shit at their job. So, well, customer service, not the local rental company. Kudos to them, actually. And also, huge shout out to the staff at AutoZone in Beckley, West Virginia. Like I pointed out in the video, I was there when they opened. But what you don't know is I was there until they closed. So I got the replacement truck about a half an hour before AutoZone closed, and one of the staff helped me install the hitch on the truck, on the replacement truck, which huge shout out to him. He didn't have to help me do that, but it made that hour job literally 15 minutes, because that hitch is not an easy thing to lift, basically bench press and screw in nuts at the same time. So having two people to hold that up was so very helpful. And yeah, huge shout out to them again. But once I got that replacement truck and I got the hitch hooked up to the trailer, we were back on the road. And I did not stop until I got home. And I want to say I got home around 2 or 3 a.m. to where I went to sleep and woke up like 3 hours later at around 7 or 8. And that's where this next clip is. All right, so we're finally home and just about to get the car off the trailer, but I wanted to get my dad's reaction. So I tried to surprise him that I actually got the car in the first place, but all the issues that happened leading up to it, I couldn't really hide the fact that I had gone down and bought a car anymore. So he kind of figured that out, but he still has yet to actually know what the car is. Or the make of it, even by looking at the silhouette, because I have it under a car cover right now. So we're going to see if my dad can actually guess what the car manufacturer is. I'll end up giving him a couple hints if he gets stuck, but we're going to go ahead, do that, and get the car loaded off the trailer.
I thought of a Bugatti at first.
A Bugatti?
Yeah.
You really think I can go and buy a Bugatti?
Well, used.
No.
Nice trash. And
There's still hundreds of thousands of dollars used. Those are $1 million cars, sir. Okay, so you said based off the shape, you thought it was a Bugatti.
That's what I
So
thought.
basing it off this silhouette.
I have no goddamn idea.
No clue. All right, I will give you a hint. It is an automaker that has a shield as their emblem. All right, so there are three, at least to my knowledge, there are three. And this is in alphabetical order. Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Porsche.
I would say it's either a Ferrari or a Porsche.
It's a Ferrari or a Porsche?
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if your guess was correct. Which one are you leaning toward more after this book? Which one are you leaning toward
Porsche.
more? The Porsche?
Yeah. Because I know you like Porsche more.
Well, it shows you know me well, sir. I absolutely hate Ferrari. As a company, I love the cars. I hate Ferrari as a company.
Work though, right?
To get this cover off?
No, to put into this car.
Cosmetically, sure, yeah. Hopefully none, or at least, hopefully not a lot mechanically. But I guess we'll see about that one.
Did you go and put air in all the tires?
No, that's why I said I just remembered I gotta go back in, so you get to warm up here for a second while I sit out here and let my thing fill up the tires.
It looks like it was hit over here.
So, the story behind it was the guy I bought it from. He got it from a friend of his, or the boyfriend of his sister.
Yeah.
And what happened with him is he slid it under a guardrail and hit some stuff. He was married at the time. And when he did it, he lost the key in the divorce. So, yeah. So that's where we stand. So yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Sure you caught it maybe earlier in the video, but one of the issues with the car is we actually didn't have a functional key when we bought the car. Now, that may sound a bit sketchy, but he did have the title, of which everything was all straight kosher. And at this point in time, I can tell you that we're good on the key situation, and I have the title and everything in my name in Pennsylvania transferred over. All we got to really do is rebuild the car. Now, I do have a few videos in the chamber already set to, well, edit. So if you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you get notified whenever those videos do drop. We will be hitting on the fixing the key issue as well as fixing the door lock, because since he didn't have a key, he had to break the door lock to get in the car. So here we are. The door lock was broken, but all the other locks were fine in the car, and we diagnosed our no start issue. Spoiler alert, the car doesn't start the first time. Who would have thought? The car's been sitting since 2011 and it doesn't start. But as always, I want to thank you guys for watching. If you haven't liked the video, please do drop a like down below. I've really just kind of put my foot in this video. I've had fun making it. But without further ado, I want to thank you again for watching for like the third time at this point. Peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.